Celebrated annually, the 16th of June commemorates the 1976 student uprising against apartheid Bantustan education system in Soweto, South Africa. This year's Day of the African Child theme builds on the momentum created by the 2017 DAC theme. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development for Children in Africa, accelerating protection, empowerment, and equal opportunity. It does so by emphasizing the need to mainstream children's rights in all Agenda 2030 developmental programs implemented by the member states. While the 2017 DAC theme focused on locating Africa's children generally within the 2030 Agenda, the 2018 theme highlights the need to ensure that no child is left behind by specifically targeting those who are not benefiting from Africa's growth and development. As we celebrated this important day, Organizing for Zimbabwe Trust takes a day to thank Zimbabweans, and this is what they say.
I think on the day we need more realism, because I'll tell you on that day they're going to be like street kids are going to be hungry, they're going to be homeless children that are going to be cold, but yet we're saying this is the day of the African child. I feel like those are actually the African children that are left behind. So if we then say leave no child behind, we must make sure our hand is reaching out to every child, not to specific children or children that come forth to that day. I think it's also about educating the kids that actually do not know about this day, because some of these kids learnt about this day or came to know about this day only because they were on certain places. Are we taking this leave no child, the day of the African child, are we taking it to the ghettos? Are we taking it to the homeless? Are we taking it to the poor? Or we just saying those in the realm of knowing that they celebrate that day? So I think we lack realism and we should just reach out.
The 16th of June, which is the day we commemorate all children here in Africa. So it's quite an epic day and the day that we have to remember for every child, because in terms of our development in Zimbabwe and worldwide, every child is the same person that has to be the adult and later the president. So we're saying leave no child behind. Every child is important in whatever they're doing, in education, in health, even in our economy. So it means on the 16th of June you have to commemorate and also give that bit of treasury to the children, because our children are our future.
The Day of the African Child to me means a lot. Why? Because as kids, as children, we're often ignored, we often are not groomed, and people expect us to be like a certain type of people when we grow up. But unfortunately, where we come from, how we are brought up is very important. So as an African child, I think it's very important for us to be educated, especially the girl child. It's very important for us to be included, be it in sport, be it in education, be it even in politics. So as an African child, I think young leaders, we need to stop the discrimination, the stereotype, the stigma. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. Everyone has something to offer. So this year's theme, let's not leave any child behind. It goes out to everyone, be it in your homes, be it in your society. Every child counts, every child is important. They are the leaders of tomorrow.
Living in an era where the government is the pillar of strength, the government is what every person looks up to. Seeing the children in the streets, I only think of a father and a child. What kind of father would want to see their child hungry, go to sleep without a blanket? Now, I'm calling for the government to be like a father to the children that are in the street. Think of the African child as your own. The government should come up with policies that cover for the health care of the children that are in the streets, the children that are dying in the hospitals, schools be more affordable, and the government should just come up with something, a fund that goes in line with any child that is homeless, any child that has got no one to turn to. A law was passed for early child marriages to be banned. But looking into our lives today, we're still seeing it happening. There should be a follow-up on the part of the government to see that what they talked about is being implemented and that there are no longer children suffering.
The Day of African Child is a day where we are recognized as young Africans, as young children. This day must be fostered by our parents, our leaders, all African leaders, so as to boost confidence in the lifestyle of the young children of Africa. They are looked after, be it healthy, education, security, shelter, and food. Especially in Zimbabwe, if all leaders come together and make sure that each and every child is catered for. Because nowadays you find that children are living in the streets. Children are running away from their homes because of abuse, because of poverty.
Leave no child behind for Africa's development. This theme is centered on the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, whereby there is a focus of all African states that there should be zero tolerance to hunger, no poverty, quality education to all, there's proper sanitation and clean water facilities being afforded to all people by the year 2030. And this year's theme, we are saying that we should not leave any child behind. Each and every child should be afforded quality education. When we're talking about leaving no child behind, we want each and every person to have access to these health facilities. Also looking at the issue of clean water and sanitation being provided for all children. Saying today, as all African states, leave no child behind for Africa's development.
Children in Africa are very important, and as a whole, not just dealing with the kids' issues only, because the kids have got parents. Those parents also need to be involved. We need everyone to be involved. We also need to do something as even the private sector, not just relying on the government to do everything for us, because sometimes the resources are not available. So if everyone does this in the space that you are in, do the little that you can to change the life of an African child.